Hey, Hunters, HaloZoo here for a special video. We're going to be doing some Prehistoric Kingdom, and don't worry about this guy. We're not really going to mess with him. I don't think... we're going to go over to Tanzania, because I think this is just the flattest map outright. Hmm. Tempted to do it with animal welfare, because I don't really mess with it, but... Do I actually want to mess with it, or... Yeah, you know what? I don't normally do it, so I'm going to mess with it. So, I have not played this game in forever. I think it was a project I was doing, but then I want to say the world got lost in one of the PC resets. It might have been the one before Ragnarok Saga, even. I don't remember. Has it been out that long? I don't know. I've lost track of what's happened with this PC and the files. Point is, I had it. The old worlds were gone. It's just a mess. But we are here with our lovely, lovely animals, and I kind of want to mess around with this game a bit more. Go back to the mammals specifically, and I also wanted to talk about some ideas I've had for another game that I've been kind of sitting on as well. That I'm actually going to double check. Is there a way to turn off those tutorials happening? General, no. Game settings, character dialogue, cinematic tracking. Okay, this is just the in-game stuff. Yeah. Oh, we're already losing frames. Oh boy. For reference, I already turned settings down to max it at 30. I don't think my PC likes playing this, recording this with Ultra on. So we might actually go down to just high. It's stable 20. We'll cap it at 20 FPS. Excuse my PC being a bit of a potato. This is the best we got, so we're going to deal with it. First off, we are going to remove the heck out of a lot of these trees. And plants. Not that it really matters anymore, because they actually removed... they made it where if you build paths, it automatically removes foliage, but we are going to set off still some minor issues, like there's no starting paths, so you can't... You still have to go through the agonizingly stupid process of lining these up and actually, like, starting the path yourself. There's no, oh, it snaps here, and then you drag out your path. It's... why... As convenient as this game is, I do not get why this exists. Excuse me, coughing. But anyway, we are going to begin our setup as we prepare to go through the game and build some stuff up. So we are going to make a... Set this up to start. So this will get us started. And back to tree removal. Or just plant removal. I love this tool, by the way. I still love the landscaping tools in this game. It is so much better than Planet Zoo. I'll be blunt. And I think this game in general, it's actually better. Like, it has a better foundation than Planet Zoo, in my honest opinion. I'm actually going to delete foliage here as well. Because I want to set up my research deal over here. Oh. I forget. Remember, I want angle snap on. Let's have it like... Or it can be hidden away right here. And then... Nah. Okay, let's... pull it back a little bit, and then... Bam. There we go, okay. Anyway. Hey, you know, I actually like that. I think that's enough. Anyway, or actually, I got an idea. We just had it, like... Boom. There we go. I think that'll be nice. I'm actually gonna turn my music down. It's a bit loud for me, so I'm gonna just cut the music in half and apply it. Okay, anyway. So what we're going to do is let us go over to the nursery. And so while there are 4 new dinosaurs to mess around with, including Spinosaurus, Karkar, Arano, and Mr. Noisy over here. Though they're not as noisy as Walking with Dinosaurs. But we're going to focus on these 4. So I believe there are 6 species to deal with, because we got the Smilodon fatalis and populator. Oh, they actually changed Dauntless up. This is much better. I would actually put the Dauntless skin in my park now. Congrats, Prehistoric Kingdom. But Fatalis is also a lot darker now, actually. I'm not a fan of this being so much darker. I don't know. I just feel like it's too dark. But I guess they were trying to make it a bit different from Pompous, but I don't know. I think I would have liked Fatalis to be the lighter one, and then Pompous is a bit darker to go along with the Dauntless skin. I think that would have been cooler, but oh well. And then we got Paraceratherium. Oh, I forgot there was actually 3 species on this. I just remember Juxia is a different one, but it looks like we're going to have 3 of these. Which is going to be interesting because we got Juxia in tropical temperate, this guy in tropical scrubland, and then this guy in desert scrubland. But I think what I'm going to do is have... I'm also tempted to do something interesting and try and make exhibits with all three, or all the biomes it has and likes. So for Smilodon Fatalis, we're going to have grassland, scrub, and temperate stuff. And then this guy would have tropical instead of temperate. Populator. While the Paraceratheriums are going to be scrubland, like Transoralicum is going to be desert scrub. Bugtians is going to be tropical scrub, and then Juxia is going to be tropical temperate. So it'll be an interesting idea. And then Mammothus is just going to be tundra, or boreal, as it's called. While Colodonta is going to be tundra temperate, or boreal temperate. So these are the only 4 genuses, or, well, 5 genuses, or genera, that we're going to be focused on today. So let us get to work. So we're going to have ultimately 6 enclosures, because we got 3 Paraceratheriums. So what I'm... Or actually, no. 7, ultimately. Which is a very unusual number to deal with. But I think... what we're going to do... I think what I want to do is I want to have a... I'm going to set this up. So I want to have perhaps like... Because I know I want... Okay, we're going to go another one out. And I have an idea. I'm going to go 2 this way. And then we go in... Back in 2. So we're going to have like 2x2 path segments. And we're going to cap it off with a section around what is going to be our final 3 species. So I'll show you my idea. We're not really going to worry about the guests too much for this park, though I might come up with some interesting stuff around the sides here. So we have this, and then we go one more. And then we go up here. And we have one up here as well. And it leads down here. And voila! We have 7 segments. So I have the Paraceratherium and Juxia here. So this is Juxia. These are the Paraceratheriums. Woolly Rhino and Woolly Mammoth. And then we have the Smilodons here, I think. I think that's my idea for the layout, and it's saving right now. I might actually real quickly turn autosave to 30 minutes. Apply. Just so we don't have that slowing us down as much, because it's probably going to freeze us every frickin' time. Also, I am fully aware that these exhibits are tiny as heck, so my idea of potentially having, like, all the biomes is going to be hell to pull off, but I think I can do it, because it's not like we're trying to deal with T-Rex and stuff like that, because as I recall, T-Rexes, some of them are stupid. Like, let's look at T-Rex. Yeah, there's 4 biomes it likes. Tropical, wetland. Oh, and Tarbosaurus is actually worse. Because it's desert, wetland, scrubland, temperate, and coastal. Though I don't mind. I'd probably inevitably make a bunch of coastal. For ferns! Which is actually the one downside of this, because I don't get to use frickin' ferns! Oh well. Anyway. So what I'm thinking is, we can divide exhibits into little mini segments. So, I actually might put the Smilodons here, thinking about it. I know I want Paraceratheriums here, maybe. So we know this is Juxia. We know this is going to be Juxia. I think Buctians here. Transoralicum here. And then Woolly Rhino, Woolly Mammoth. Populator Fatalis. Because this is going to have some temperate. So I'm thinking... Okay, let me just remind myself what fences I need for what. Juxia, 3.5, 3-4 meters. And this guy needs 1 meter. This is just 1 meter. Okay. And these guys need 1 meter. I forgot how short some... I can use literally the weakest fences in the game on woolly mammoths. That is ridiculous. But anyway, let us begin our planning process. So... I think we can use the iron bars, actually. So, as I recall, we just... these need strength too, though. But... So that'd be modern 2.5. But anyway... What we're going to do here is we're going to try our best to build this up as we need. It's going to be... There we go. Oh, I love the fence placement in this game. I'll be honest, I have not touched Planet Zoo in ages. And it's partly thanks to this game. Just being so much better to actually freaking play. It's embarrassing, you know? Like... And I gotta say, that's, to this day, my biggest complaint with Planet Zoo is how much of a nightmare it is to create enclosures in that game. It really is embarrassing how bad it is. It's, you know, it's just, I much prefer this, please. It's just a genuinely better made system for building the exhibits and stuff. It's that's just the truth, Frontier, you know? It's, as much as I love Planet Zoo as, like, a spiritual successor to Zoo Tycoon, it's a bit too methodical in building for my tastes, where this, it's just like, yeah, I mean, I miss the ability to have it snap to where I want it to, because these don't even snap to grids either. That's the worst part. Can't snap it to a grid if I wanted to. Which is annoying, because just the way it is, but because I would like to have it where I could snap fences to the edge of a path automatically, and I don't have to methodically be like, oh, where does this end? Also, if the max limit was the same as the max length limit of paths, because that would be convenient rather than having it be a bit longer. So it ends up being these are like in the middle. So sometimes these get out of alignment. Like if I was to do it like this, it'll inevitably be out of alignment because it's just the way this building system was designed, which is more annoying than it should be. But oh well, it's, you know, it is what it is. It's not a terrible system. It's just what it is, you know? Though there is still, like, some holdover issues that I run into with how this game is designed. Let's remind myself, what? Parasur 3... Oh, yeah, it was strength 3, 4. Uxio was 3, 2.5. I think I'm just going to use the 4-meter fence for it, too. Mostly because I can. And it gives a bit of... Because I don't think there's the right... fence for them. Far as I recall. But... yeah. I mean, the building system, it works. I gotta say, like, Planet Zoo, I do like it having real animals, and it's certainly the best, like, modern zoo builder game we've had. That, it's just that the way it's built, just, it doesn't quite hit the same highs as other games in the genre do. Like, this game does a beautiful job of letting you go kind of crazy with the tools you got, you know? It's like, man, we'll just keep it this fence. Because it needs strength 3, but it's... I don't really know if there's any 2.5 meter strength 3. I think it's always minimum 4 meters. Oh, you are kidding me. That is horrendous. It's even snapped to 90 degrees. How do you, like, get that wrong? I don't... Or I guess... Huh, it, like, auto snaps to 90 degrees, but it doesn't always want to cooperate with that snap like it should. But anyway, okay, here are our 7 exhibits. So we got 7. So we are going to begin working on... Do I actually want to... Yeah, I committed myself to doing it, so we're going to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at... I'm just going to get woolly rhinos out of the way, because they're kind of my least favorite of these. So 15% exhibit crowding. I think Flint's... I'm going to go with 2 grasslands as well, perhaps. I don't necessarily want all the skins, but actually, no. Terminate those two because I don't really like them as much. There we go. Some stouts. Oh, those don't look good either. So actually, we're going to wait. We're going to get a breeding pair, and then we'll go from there. They don't really like a lot of forest, but we'll need a plant and fruit thing. We need 15% water. Okay. So we need a small thing of water in here. So we're going to put the shallowest water we can. We're only going to put, like... a little bit in a corner, so... There we go. Okay. So now... I'm going to go over to Tundra. Gravel. We're on the edge of our little pool. Actually, should have done this first, but... At least this grass color is easy to tell apart. I'm gonna put a lot of tundra grass in here. I think what I want to have is a more temperate area down here. That's like where the water is. So we should make this the substrates. This is like a little... area of a sort of temperate grassland over here. So like this area is all going to be a temperate grassland. So let's put temperate grass all over here. And then tundra up this area. There we go. Okay. I think I might actually have a... There we go. So there we are. Maybe like that. Okay. So this is our... Go back to temperate. Make sure our pool is nice and full of substrate. And we will have their food. I have one thing over here and one thing over here. So we'll have fruits over here. So this is our fruit feeder. They have water over here. So this will give them water. And this will be where they eat their plant stuff. So now we need enrichment. And we're going to put boop, 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 boop. 4 frozen fruit deals. Because that is all they eat is plant eaters. And we're going to get a little shelter for them. I don't know if that's too large. That's probably too small, actually. I hate how this one has fences. I wish they had one of these without the fence, but I think, though... Actually, they might be able to use this. I don't remember if they can or not, but we'll give it to them. Yeah, they can actually use that. Okay. Actually, I might replace it with something slightly larger though, just because. I think they deserve it. But we are gonna have some very dense foliage here. What? Keep it like 50%, but just to give them some privacy. It's like we have this little very dense boreal forest segment. So it's like they have a bit of privacy from guests if they need it. There we go. Okay. Boom. And then we'll have a bit of a terrain deal here where it's kind of gravelly. So it kind of leads into this area where oh. I did not know those delete that. Okay, we're going to go with just medium. Okay, anyway, yeah, I can't really see in that well, so that's good. Okay, we're fine. It's fine. Okay,
The woolly rhino, or Coelodonta, is a relative to the modern-day Sumatran rhino. Our ancient ancestors were very familiar with these beasts and illustrated them in cave paintings on several occasions. It's not hard to see why. They're remarkably handsome, don't you think?
oh. Okay, we're going to rethink this. So we're gonna do something a bit different. We're just gonna make this obstructed. So visitors cannot see in. There. That is our solution to animal privacy. There we go. Okay. That is our shelter. It's kind of silly, but it works, you know? If it works, it works. And we're going to make a kind of like area of gravel beneath it. Looks like in this segment of gravel. Before you get into the snow fields, which we're gonna do with like little patches of snow or like all over the place. There we go. Okay. So we're gonna oh, that there we go. Okay. So we're gonna create a very very sparse and do that. So the forests not really big on yet.
Much like its contemporary, the woolly mammoth, this rhino inhabited what is now called the Mammoth Steppe, a vast cold grassland that extended from Western Europe to the most remote corners of Siberia. By bringing this animal back to life, we honor that wonderfully diverse ecosystem, now lost to the ages.
Oh, these don't contribute at all. Yes! Haha! Oh, it does contribute, but very little. Okay, that's fine. Anyway. Is there anything I don't want? Not really. I want to be very careful with this. So we're going to set it to like 5%. Which I forgot was absolute crap. So we're going to go back to like 10 and hope. Just gonna restart on this segment. So we're gonna remove some stuff that I do not want. So I don't. I don't really want the seasonal trees. So I think this will be good. Okay, so we're gonna. That's like 10%. As it proceeds to not plant trees. Great. Ooh. Ooh, that's painful actually. Hmm. Actually, I have an idea. Let's not do oaks either. And focus more on the birch and elm trees. So just pull you up. You should be fine.
Modern species, this rhinoceros sports 2 horns on its face. A key difference to note, however, is its unusual flattened shape. That's truly unique among its peers.
Okay, we're actually going to focus on some trees now. Okay, deselect all. I like a very sparse temperate forest. Yeah, it did not go well. This? I'm having a lot of problems with this. That's the thing with this game. And this is actually one complaint I'm going to have with this game is that it just feels like you can't really win with the plants. It's such a mess sometimes. It's ugh. I want frickin' trees, game. Let's just restart again. Let's just have arrowwood, birch, and elms. This should give me plenty of trees with way fewer ground cover plants. Okay, let's delete some plants I don't want. And then we can plant some sort of ground cover all over the place. And hopefully make this look a lot nicer. Because the forest is dealt with, so plants that don't add to the forest meter should be nice. Okay, this is something that's a little more work, I think. Okay, we're going to go back to temperate. Deselect all. Put a little more vegetation over here. There we go. Okay. Still good? Ah, we're just over. Okay. Delete this plant. Go to like 5 years and delete this one. Delete this stuff over here a little bit. We'll sparsify this. Okay, we're just deleting some of the ground cover plants. There we go. Okay. Yeah, they're like a couple. Which one's good? Nope. Apparently we only have like one more tree. But this, well, okay, let's actually place some like random tree here. Is that at max? Yeah, that's pretty much at max. Okay. So there we go. Woolly rhinos dealt with. I think we can get 2 more in here. Hey, happy? Yeah, I think they're pretty much good. So, boom, woolly rhinos dealt with in a not amazing exhibit, but nah, you know, what would you expect with such hilariously limited stuff. I feel like this is actually the best skin, but it's freaking tiny. I might actually go for this one, just because it's, as much as I like glacial, I'll actually see if we can get some. Yeah. What are the frickin' odds? Oh my... No. No. Okay, there's a different name. There's a different name. And there's a different... okay. Now we got 6 different names. Okay, that's good. That's what we want. Also, we want this to be purely tundra because that's all they like. These guys only like it cold. They like the tundra, so we're going to give them a full tundra exhibit. So I think what we're going to do this differently this time is... I don't think they want a lot of water either, as I recall. So we're going to look at this. I'm going to double check. So they want 15% water as well. 5 to 25% forest. So I think these guys are even more pickier than... Oh, no, it's actually the exact same. So we're not going to have a lot to work with in terms of forestation. But we're going to start, of course, is... we got to start with a shelter, which I think they're actually suited to this one. So we're going to put this one down. But there we go. Okay. Boom. Let's check release. Yeah, they can get in and out of that, I think. Yeah, you should be able to get out of that. Okay. So once again, we need fruit. So I wonder if I can just... No! It doesn't work. Dang it! I was hoping I didn't have to bypass the stupid select what you want to feed mechanic, because it's just a load of crap. That's another problem I have with this game. Because it is mostly, like, little problems, but I do not like how you change what food a feeder has. It's just beyond dumb. I'll be blunt. I'll make another little pond. I make something more like a little river. I don't know what this... Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this. We're just going to do a little... Boop. Terrain cover. Some gravel. And we're going to make this... like so. With gravel. So they got like a gravelly pond to work with. Let me double check our environment. Water is at a low percentage, which is good. And as for our like building area, it's built on a rocky segment, so it's like this area of rock that just we've built upon here. So there we go. Okay, there's some rock. I think I want to have like a kind of like a whole snowfield out here. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. Select the rock. There we go. There we go. Okay, so there's like a big snowfield over here. And then hmm. There we go. I think that's... I'm going to disrupt this a little bit with grass. There we go. Okay. I think this is good overall. Select all. Oh, actually, first I want some. Those fruit blocks. Doop. 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 And doop. Okay. So now we'll release all these animals. There we go. Okay.
At last, the woolly mammoth, ruler of the Ice Age, then ruler of none. There's nothing quite like it on the planet today. Just like their closest elephant cousins, mammoths are highly social, forming large family groups led by matriarchs. So that means we need to make sure we give them enough company. I would hate to see them feel lonely.
Actually, I could just go big. I don't know. You said 70 meters. Shoop. There we go. Okay. Deselect all. Ground cover only. To respectful 25 meters and voila. Removal mode. Boom. I'm decently happy with it. It's not as foresty as I'd like it to be, but oh well. It's actually address this area. There we go. Okay. I'm content with this. So anyway, about the project I was gonna talk about while playing this. The idea is actually kind of similar to this, where it is a prehistoric park builder. Uses tools similar to this, as this game just... It's so nice. You have biomes, because the biome system... I cannot stress enough how I despise the individual terrain system of Planet Zoo in similar games. It's just really not my cup of tea. It's honestly more annoying than it should be to me. Like, I get people apparently like it because it's appeared multiple times. I'm gonna do this. Fortunately, these guys like a lot more forest, so Fatalis is gonna be fun because I get to kind of go crazy with it. So, hmm. Trying to think. So, Populator is going to be on the right. Fatalis on the left. I think we're going to do Fatalis first. So it's grassland, scrub, temperate. So I think what I want is... So where we're going to have the water, I think, is going to be different for each, but I think I want the grass... Or actually, I'm going to have the temperate be where the water is for Fatalis. So we're going to have the water over here. Or actually, let's go with leaf litter. Oh. I was trying to use the right. So we're going to have like a... Right here is our temperate zone for Fatalis. So that's where our temperate area is. And then we have a... I actually have an idea that we can use with this. But hear me out. Just make this go a bit bigger than I otherwise would. And then over here we have our scrubland area. which then we drag into here for Populator, as their scrubland areas are connected. And the grasslands also connect over here. And then their tropical, where their water is going to be right here. And if we go back to grassland, boom. I think I'm actually going to extend that. A little further, but there we go. Okay. And here I want to extend the scrubland a little further, just because never been a fan of temperate. It's probably my least favorite, in all honesty. I don't know, I just don't like temperate in this game. It's not terrible, but I mean, I'd rather use anything else. So let's actually queue up our six Fatalis. So up to 30. It's not bad. I can have more water than the others, but I just want a small little pond. There we go. Okay. Actually, temperate. And we want to go to landscape. As we put the grass down. And put some very, like, sparse. We're gonna go oakless, but we're gonna have bamboo. Actually, yeah. Oh, I did not want that much. We're gonna go 10%. But sometimes you kind of forget how stupid this is. Let's set it at 50 meters just so we get more. Oh, it's not actually planting on the. That's actually useful to know. But anyway, okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with our forestiness bit that makes it an actual forest. So, excuse my use this tool. Let's go 30 meters. There we go. Okay. Then we go to sparsification. Make sure we don't have it. Well, actually, I'm not gonna do this yet. We're actually gonna go back to 10% on 25 meters. Deselect all. Select our ground covery plants that we're gonna plant. And plant them around. Okay, and then we go to tree removal. Go much smaller. So we only hit what's in the water. What we want to hit. So boom. Boom. Okay, that's good, I think. So then we head over to scrub. And we want this sparse, but we don't want leaning palms. I hate how they have leaning palms. Leaning palms are the worst, but yeah. Focus it a bit more. We're going to deselect all. There we go. Okay. So now we can go remove the trees where we don't want them. So that's too close to the borders. Okay, and now we can go to grass mode. So grass mode. And we're just gonna get the main area with the big brush and then worry about the smaller area with a small brush. So we're just gonna boom! So you can kind of tell what the biomes shift, but what we're going to do now is we're going to go like very low on the clay and clay this up. And we're going to do the same thing over here with leaf litter. And just kind of see if we can't make this feel a little more foresty. And then we go to substrate. 100% substrate, you know. And voila! I really don't like this animal here. So we're going to go to tree mode. 100%. 1 meter. Boom! Get out of here. There we go. Okay. So that is these segments done. We haven't even gotten to the meat section, which is there's going to be 2 things of meat they can feast upon. Because Smilodons are purely carnivorous. 99% sure, yeah. Purely carnivorous. No piscivory here. But it just means we have meat for both of these. Okay, and now we go over to animal care. And the cave. Just gonna place one here. Actually, I want it. Like right there, actually, I think is gonna be cooler. So then we head over to the grassland palette. Over here. I think I want this to be dirt. There we go. Okay. So this is our dirt patch. Actually, do I want it to be sand? Yeah. Nah. I'm content with this. Okay. So then I'm going to keep to this. Actually, select all, and I'm just going to deselect the trees. Just the acacias and marulas. And then a more focused brush. Focus on getting our grasses, and then more focused here. Where it does not want to plant anything. Okay. Fine by me. Okay. That's fine. Anyway, edit. We're gonna add rocks. Scaling. There we go. So we're gonna move this. There we go. Okay. Just gonna scaling. Leash it down. And then rotate it. Like that. There we go. Okay. And boom. Actually, we'll make this thinner, but tall. Okay, I think that's good. Voila. There we go. Okay. Let us select all, release them.
Oh boy, that's a big kitty. More commonly known as the saber-toothed tiger, Smilodon makes for a formidable predator. Many of its fossils have been excavated in tar pits, with the most prolific site being La Brea in Los Angeles, California. More than a staggering 166,000 specimens of Smilodon have been found in these sediments alone. What may have been terrible death traps in the past make for great opportunities in the present as we bring this carnivore back to life.
We want some grassland. I want some trees over here. And I'm gonna go a bit deeper into the forestation. This is about the limit, so we'll leave it there. Okay, I'm content with this now. Yeah. This has turned out wonderfully. So yeah. But anyway, the idea for this game is, that I was going to talk about is, it's called Cenozoic Zoo, and the basic idea is that you have a prehistoric park builder. It's exclusively Cenozoic, though. So there are no non-avian dinosaurs. It cuts off at the Paleocene. That is the earliest the game could possibly go back in time. So to really get two of these. So you basically have only Cenozoic animals. Dinosaurs, absent. Or, well, what we commonly group together as dinosaurs. So, like, of course, forest rockids would appear. You'd have Pseudotsuchians like, what should we call it? Sebekids is one group, as well as like more modern crocodilians. Uh, they would appear, but the main idea of the game is purely to give players an experience that is make sure to turn that's not back on. Uh, I wonder. Let's select this and let's can I screw it. It'll be exactly the same. It's just the way it's going to be. But anyway. Oh, that's going to be annoying. But Cenozoic Zoo is kind of based around the idea that you have only Cenozoic animals. So there's just that. We're going to call this Cenozoic Zoo. Just goes. But the game also has a kind of big sense of humor as well. So it's not just like, oh, it's a park builder, but purely in the Cenozoic. You know, that's all well and good, but it kind of needs more character beyond that. So for this game, the idea is, well, what if we just took the game and then said, oh yeah, you know how all this stuff is based around being in the Cenozoic and stuff, there's no dinosaurs? Well, that's a running gag, is just, it makes fun of Jurassic Park, because of course it does. Why wouldn't we make fun of Jurassic Park and gaslight their hilariously stupid choices? We have that luxury. It's like, why would we do something as dumb as, like, all these clearly stupid safety oversights and stuff like that? And, the game takes itself somewhat seriously, too, where it's got a kind of believable system in place for how everything is set up and works. It's not just a game focused around, it's focused around setting up and building this park filled with prehistoric animals, but it has some systems in place to help you with that, where it's like, okay, well, instead of just, oh, you build a zoo and you build enclosures and boom. There's a lot of technology going behind the scenes where it kind of fosters this semi-realistic, or, well, not realistic, but perhaps believable sci-fi is what I'd call it. It's not necessarily stuff that could actually exist. What matters is the game makes it feel believable and, it seems plausible and reasonable for what you're doing. So, you have these items called the advanced environmental control units. So these are basically the foundation of, building up your park and making it actually, function as a prehistoric animal park should. So rather than just dealing with, as it kind of says, well, these are animals not adapted to our modern world. So you have to use an advanced environmental control unit in the exhibit to actually set what this exhibit is going to be housing and make it actually function for that species. You can't just throw and like this game, as cool as it is, it kind of skips over that and kind of just hand waves it as, oh yeah, it's automatically set up for a mammoth to live here, even though we're in frickin' Africa. In Tanzania, which they don't really seem well suited to. So, yeah, it kind of hand waves it. This game says, we're not going to hand wave it. We're just going to make it where, okay, there's this thing called the Advanced Environmental Control Unit that you have to use to set the enclosure to be the sort of environment you need it to be. We can't just put animals in an enclosure, call it a day. We got to set up that enclosure somehow. And the Advanced Environmental Control Unit is how you do it. So once you got your Advanced Environmental Control Unit set up, which has multiple ways of even interacting with it. So it's not just a case of, oh, you place it down, it works. At least not by default. You can, of course, control this and make it function in a much easier to deal with way. So it's not necessarily working this way. It's just, by default, you are going to have to do some finagling with this thing. To some degree, at least. As, you're going to have to set it up to where this enclosure actually functions for the species you intended it for. So you gotta, do some work to get this going, but once you do, the enclosure will actually, function for the animal you designated. So you gotta do some work by setting, atmospheric conditions in various ways. So there's, various things you set, like O2 levels, all sorts of stuff. There we go. No, they're bendy palms. Okay, we're good. Safe with the bendy palms. But anyway, let us go over to select all. Number 10%. Quarter meters. Let's go 30. And then... Oh, I forgot to set no bendy palms. And then we'll... well, let's just reset this. Okay. Deselect that. 100%. And then we only select the very small trees or plants. Still wish this had like a separate setting for both like trees and ground cover beyond this, because this is like scrub and forest and scrub and pampas. They're cool, but I would like an explicit like, oh yeah, this is your trees and ground cover modes, so you can, you know, more accurately say, you know, I want ground cover or I want trees. Specifically the ground cover, because it's just, you know, and that's another thing that I would have is with Cenozoic Zoo, it would also have the sliders for you have ground cover, but also trees. So the trees and ground cover are actually counted separately in the game. It's not like, well, here's your ground cover, here's your trees, call it a day. It's not like that. How the game works is actually very different. It's like, okay, well, you know, we've got trees, we got ground cover. They have separate preferences. So, like a woolly mammoth might like having very few trees, but they like having a lot of ground cover, whereas Smilodon might actually like having a lot more trees, but maybe not as much ground cover as a woolly mammoth. So they have different preferences for each of those. And I actually forgot blood pumpkins. And then we're going to have meat trays here and here. And we're going to put meat in this. Hate how I have to go in group edit mode for these. Could this not be considered a group, please? And just function as, oh, I click it, I can automatically change it to frickin' whatever I need. Or just have it set separately here, where I can choose, oh, what kind is this? Because you can actually change, like, the type, like, if it's metal or something else, but no, I can't set if it has a certain food type. Yeah, that's just one of those. It's more annoying than it should be. Also, could they please remove bendy palms? Like, please? Bendy palms are the worst. I hate them. If you can't tell. I definitely have a disdain for bendy palms. Select all. And release. There. Oh, there's a lot more forests than they like.
This
Yeah.
large feline could gape its mouth to impressive extents, up to 120 degrees, almost twice as much as a lion. I would love to see it in action from a safe distance.
Well, we'll make sure there's one, just in case there's some erroneously planted stuff. No, I want tree removal. Oh, they... Hmm. Hmm. Holy cow, these... This is crazy. I think I'm just gonna cleanse the scrubland area real quick. Because that was definitely the problem. Okay. Boom. Deselect Spinby Palm. There we go. Okay. And then we're gonna go way down as we begin going purely ground
Despite
cover.
the looks, Smilodon isn't closely related to any modern cats. It's more accurately called a Macarodont, although I wouldn't worry too much about making the distinction. Just try to keep those saber teeth away from the guests.
There we go. Okay. I think I'm a lot happier with this now. So we're actually going to go back to landscaping, and we're going to go to grassland mode. Disable trees. And make this grassier. Ah, dang it. But actually, I'm just... just not delete this. There we go. Okay. Okay, we're set. It's perfect. Voila! Yeah, I'm happy with this. There we go. That is nice. All right. So we've got 4 down. Yeah, so anyway, you kind of have some split off stuff. And you got the advanced environmental control unit. It's got a sense of humor. So you've got stuff like very regular jokes at Jurassic Park's extent. No, we're not adding dinosaurs, or at least traditional dinosaurs in the context of the game. And kind of having fun with the concepts and everything. Where you've got stuff like... And a lot of it is reasonable conjecture stuff that, like, what would we do if we could, experiment with bringing back extinct species? Well, why don't we see how Smilodons hunted and use their saber teeth, stuff like that. And also bring in a lot of very unusual species that you normally wouldn't see. And my hotbar showed up. I'm going to actually pause recording real quick because we've gone for an hour. Almost 2 now, dang it. Yeah, this is going to be on for a while, but I'll take a quick break here. All right, I returned for my little break. But anyway, so yeah, with Cenozoic Zoo, not sure places, but I'll have to worry about it. It kind of has this theme of... There is some speculative stuff, so it's not like, oh, this is exactly what we're sure it's like. there's some speculation with various animals, and it might occasionally throw a curveball at you where it's like, oh yeah, and randomly this has the weirdest thing with it, as it's like, and suddenly this animal has a very weird trait that you wouldn't expect it to have. And I'm gonna actually double check. What? Like, I was just there. Temperate, tropical. Hmm. Let me just go pure tropical, but hmm. 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 Thinking. Yeah, the north part of this would be tropical. And then we have the south get turned into a more temperate region. So there we go. All right, there we are. So then we have a, don't want a lot of water, so we're just gonna have a little pond. Hmm. Kind of right here, I guess. There we go. Okay. And then it's gonna be in the temperate zone, so it's gonna be covered in substrate. There we go. And then their housing is gonna be I don't know what a good one would be, actually. I think, well, this might actually work for them, so let's have it this way. Because this gives us a bit more breathing room with the jungle. So, voila. Yeah, it's perfect. Okay. So we don't have to worry about that. Then, as I recall, these are purely plants. No fruit. Yeah, just plants. So this will be a quick... no, I want this. Get that out of here. Plant feeder here, then here. And then you have fruit blocks here. And then for our forest, once again, I'm going to make sure there's no seasonal foliage. And no oaks. I don't particularly like the oaks at all. We're going to go 10% for the temperate segment. And I'm actually going to plant a bunch of trees, because I then have an idea of then turning around with the same stuff. Go like 25. And then go pure removal on that one, just because I don't like where it ended up. And I think this is good for the temperate segment. So we're going to, at least in trees, so we're going to deselect all, then go back to here. Sparse 10%. 20 meters. Go over this with ground cover. And then go back to tree removal. Go to 100%. Be very careful with it. Cut down anything in the water and anything in my tropical segment. There we go. Okay. Now, we go over to tropical. We're still going to keep it to meager 10%, but we're going to go 40 meters. Deselect all the ground cover and the bendy palm. Because bendy palms suck. Heard it here first. Yeah, bendy palms are just the worst, in my opinion. Yeah, let's actually go 30 meters, because I think that's going to be a much better result than what I was doing. Actually, let's go a bit bolder. Let's deselect all, and then we're going to only pick kind of tall plants. And let's get these situated first before we worry about smaller ones. Okay, this is going to work well. Can already tell. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to select all and deselect these specifically. And go in with the 30 meter. Go nuts with it. There we go. Okay. That's not bad, actually. But I think we can still do better. Get some ferns. Now we really cover this up. Yeah. Okay, now let's actually return to these. Much taller trees. Let's go with a bold, like, 60 meters. There we go. I think this is good enough. Okay. Let us see if they actually like it. I have a suspicion I may have gone too crazy. Yes, yes I did. But I have an idea. And it is called trees from the area up here. So I only want elms and birch removed. There we go. Okay. Hmm. 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 Oh. I wish it didn't, like, automatically change your selection. It's like, a bit more sparing here. There we go. Okay. Now do you like this? Dang it! Just barely under. Um, Shuffle. Is that better? Hmm. Okay, we're just gonna select all. We're not gonna remove elms this time. Or birch. We're just gonna remove ground cover. There we go. Okay, we're good now. This is nice. Okay. But I think what we still need. Nah. I'm happy with it. Okay. So there's Juxia. So what about the other two? If I remember correctly, these both have different preferences. Um, Bugtians likes tropical scrub, and then these guys like desert scrub. Okay, so we're gonna do the tropical scrubland first, which I think what I want to do is actually. So once again, what we're gonna do is actually connect the scrubland regions. So we're just gonna paint our scrubland areas. So we're gonna have a some big scrubland over here. Make sure that maybe that's scrubland, and not actually accidental. Okay, there we go. That's dealt with. Okay, so then over here we have our desert. So we're defining our desert. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go a bit bigger now. We got the basic borders down, but we're gonna go all the way like this. So these guys live in a more deserty area, and then here is our tropical area. So there we go. Okay. I put that. Okay. There we go. So going back to this. Our tropical substrate that will define our tropical area here. So there we go. Okay. So we're gonna do bug teams first, even though I actually like the biome combo better. We're gonna do it first. Okay, so I think for the sake of unity, we're gonna have the water, I think, top in the scrubland regions. And this is going to go back to clay, I think. Or, well... She might have it be sand. But we're going to... start painting our grass. Because as we know, grass is the best thing to have all over the place. Even for the desert, I'm going to have a lot of grass, but fortunately, desert grass is actually really easy to identify visually. Similar to swamp and tundra, actually. Because I think wetland and tundra ended up being the best off in terms of, oh, hey, I can tell what biome this is, unlike pretty much every other biome in the game, because, oh boy, is it impossible to tell what you got where. I also wish water didn't accept you putting grass in it, but, ah, well. There we go. Okay. There's our sand. Our wet sands. Let's go with our playing tool. I think I might be more aggressive with it here. Oh no, I doing the opposite of what I wanted. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. So, make sure no bendy palms. 100%. 40 meters? See what this produces. Actually, let's grab Bugsians. Get our herd. Oh, these guys are a lot more social. Still gonna keep to 6, but 5 to 60, so about half forested then. These guys. But okay, now let's get rid of, go to short mode, the ground covering segment of our little venture, and keeping it in the same cover mode. Gonna make it a bit denser here. Voila! Removal. Here. Get rid of all that. And then make sure there's nothing on the biome border for when we get to the tropical segment. And also, I'm going to quickly check. Does this work for this species? Yes, it does. So we can't actually grab one of these. Okay. That is good to know, actually. I was curious as to whether I was going to get away with these. I don't know about the last one, but I think... Boom. Okay, so... Voila. And... I believe these are also purely plant-based, but... Boom. Boom. And actually, by extension, I'm going to place the ones here, too. Boop. I assume this one will work, too, but... There's a chance it doesn't, but... That's a chance I'm willing to risk. Okay, so let's get to jungle mode. Can barely tell what I'm doing. But, oh well, that's not what matters here. What matters here is getting this grassed up so we can begin our forestation. After perhaps a little bit of substrating. There we go. Okay. That looks good terrain-wise. So now we're going to go... No bendy palms. I'm actually going to try something a bit different this time. I'm going to go... Not 10%. We're going to go 15%. And we're gonna go down to okay, now we're going to deselect all. Which are ground covering plants. Nothing too big, but you know, little stuff. As we can, and then voila! I presume. Yeah! As we expected. Okay, let's do some sparsification of our... Select all. So, 20%. There we are! Perfect! I removed all Norfolk pines. Crap. Oh well, it looks fine. Oh boy, these guys are a bit loud, but doesn't matter to you guys because you can't hear it. Yeah, these are nice. But yeah, with Cenozoic Zoo, the idea is, you know, it's kind of simple, but you know, it's hopefully a premise that I think a lot of people will actually kind of enjoy, where it has a very different feel to it. Because it has that, you know, more speculative side where, you know, and, you know, it's kind of interesting because it'll just be like, oh yeah, randomly, we're dealing with, you know, questioning the ethics of certain things. Like, should we release certain things into the wilds? Or, you know, like the ethics of zoos and stuff, where it has that serious side, it has the joking side. And, you know, sometimes it might have something completely random, like you might see an animal do something that you wouldn't expect it to, or it has something we wouldn't have foreseen. Especially with very fragmentary animals, it might be, and these guys have something very random that you wouldn't expect, but has a believability to it still, where, you know, there's always that sense of it's not 100% accurate or like scientific, but oh boy, these guys are gonna be a pain. They do not like forest at all, but we're gonna deal with it. So okay, first things first, right down to 10% on the 50-meter brush. And make sure we got none of like the ground covering plants. There we go. Okay. That's our desert trees. There we go. Okay. Actually, no. Backpedal twice on that. Be a bit more aggressive with it. There we go. Okay. So that is our desert plants dealt with. We're going to go back to a 50-meter. deselect all. Okay, so we're gonna go for pretty much everything I didn't grab there, which means this all. And we're gonna go 25 meters. Boom. I feel like I need a bit more vegetation here, so we're gonna 10% on the 50, select all, remove tall cacti. Okay, we're just gonna there we go. Okay, there we go. Oh. There we go. Okay, select all, place. Oh. Well. Actually, we're gonna just delete the desert plants. And, okay, that puts us way down at the bottom. Okay. So actually, we're gonna plant just a little bit here, and then we're gonna go to desert. Deselect these pesky cactus, and then we're gonna just barely tip over. Dang it. %. There we go. Okay, it's perfect now. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the very stringent requirements, but I do think it works fine. And this is one of those moments where I just wish I had a separate ground cover and trees toggle. Like, But yeah, it's this zoo's all right. I think we did a good job. Well, think being the operative keyword. Maybe not the best to navigate, but I do think that all the species have a nice region to visit and explore. Though I do wish I could have more dense forests and stuff, but it is what it is. But yeah, I'm happy with this park. But anyway, final thoughts on my Cenozoic Zoo project. My main vision would kind of be something that it's a game anyone can access and enjoy. I want it to be accessible with building tools very similar to Prehistoric Kingdom because they're just so good. Because as good as Planet Zoo is, if you want to really go nitty gritty with the details and customize the game and the zoo to exactly what you envision, it's great. Otherwise, oh boy, is it hell for casual. And an animal placement system similar to this one. I'd also probably bring in some Jurassic Park Operation Genesis stuff with the, you go out, you send expeditions of paleontologists to get fossils, and then you, research those fossils to get the DNA and stuff. And as you get more genome, the animals are more resilient and healthier. So you need a minimum of 50%, but if you get a pure animal with the 100% genome, then you're going to have a lot less harmful mutations. They're going to be a lot more resilient to disease and stuff. And they're going to live a lot longer. So, and then also you get more, science credit for them, as you got a much better animal, so people are gonna scientific people are gonna care more about said animal. He's kind of ugly, but oh well. But yeah, that's kind of the idea there. And then you've got a wide array of animals from the Cenozoic, and I think that'd be very fun because it's kind of cool to just be like, I'm gonna build a zoo with Cenozoic animals. I mean, this zoo is kind of crap, and also I would give a specific split to the species and the skin system. I would probably have it just be a kind of randomized thing instead, where you wouldn't normally find specific ones, but you might split these into subspecies. Like you might have this could be like a dwarf island mammoth, and then this would be kind of a mainland mammoth of the primigenous species, where these are a subspecies. But that's kind of the idea there. I might go into more detail with it later, but basic idea, it's a prehistoric park builder that is purely focused on the Cenozoic era. Nothing from the Mesozoic or earlier. And it would have an expansion pack system in place. I'm also going to save the park. Not going to worry about the guests in this one, just because I've spent enough time building enclosures. But, it's got a semi-realistic sci-fi theme where it's not necessarily perfectly accurate to science. It's not all designed to be, oh yeah, this could absolutely exist in real life. That's kind of hand-waved a bit, where it's like, it's reasonable. It sounds plausible, like the environmental control unit, where it controls atmospheric conditions in an area inside, where you set this thing to have the conditions of a certain age. And you can also, in the difficulty options, you have easy, medium, and hard modes for a lot of stuff like that, where it's, you know, do you want to just, oh, you put it in, it automatically works. Or you put it in, you set the epoch and, like, region you want. So you could say Miocene South America or Pleistocene Asia or stuff like that, basically. Where you set the era and region, and boom, it works. Or you can have the hard mode, which is the nitty-gritty details of oxygen levels, temperature range, humidity, all that nitty-gritty detail that you have to manage. Rampages and animal escapes would be a thing, but more like Planet Zoo, where it happens, but it's not a major mechanic of the game, like Jurassic Park, Operation Genesis, and Jurassic World Evolution, stuff like that. And, you know, there's a bit of speculation with some things, like you might suddenly have an animal that doesn't look like you'd expect it to, or stuff like that, where it's, you know, oh, wait, we didn't expect this to happen. Like, Andrew Sarkis might end up looking very weird compared to what you might expect, where it's like, oh, that's not what we expected to see. Or, the Mesonychids might have more ungulate-like ears, because, like, well, yeah, that's, you know, they're closer to ungulates, they're not, part of Ferae, so they don't have the ears like carnivorans. They have ears like an ungulate, where it's like, oh, you know, you didn't expect that. And it's stuff like that where, you know, it's not 100% accurate or realistic, but it has a plausibility to it where if we're doing something odd, it's either A, for fun, but it's always kind of grounded in, realistically, this could occur. And there is going to be expansions like Zoo Tycoon and stuff. Like, the ones I have specifically planned would be Into the Abyss, which is kind of the Marine Mania expansion, where you kind of go for the underwater stuff, like Basilosaurus, obviously, Leviathan, Megalodon, and all sorts of other heavily aquatic animals. You have From the Ashes, which is the Paleocene expansion, where it's something that hasn't been shown in the game. It's specifically left out of the base game, and then suddenly you have the Paleocene in the expansion. Here's some animals that came just after the dinosaurs were wiped out. And heck, it may even have a random actual dinosaur thrown in as a speculative thing of, oh, we didn't know that a dinosaur had somehow survived, but here it is, a random true non-avian dinosaur discovered in the Paleocene in this game, even though we don't know if there's one, but theoretically there could have been. Like, maybe it's a Troodontid or something. But you have that expansion where it goes into an era we haven't seen, and then we also have Sins of the Past, which is the opposite, where these are more recently extinct species, like Thylacine, the Barbary lion, the Atlas bear, the blue buck. And various other species that went extinct in the AD years rather than the BC years, and like, you know, rather than the Pleistocene before, or at least very early Holocene and before, because there might be a few that, like, you know, woolly mammoths actually died out in the Holocene. Around the time the pyramids were built is actually when the last mammoths died out on Wrangel Island. So, you know, there's some stuff that went extinct in the Holocene, but it's very specifically BC only. Sins of the Past goes into AD and says, okay, these are way more recent animals that went extinct. Boom. Though there might be some that went extinct in BC thrown in, but it's very much like stuff we know went extinct more recently. That's the idea behind it. And then the fourth expansion, I don't know if there'd be a fourth, but for my sake, I want there to be a fourth, but it would probably be focusing on a specific era or continent. But as another side note, very specifically, the cutoff for hominids would be Australopithecus. Anything before that is fair game for the humanoid branch, but anything past Australopithecus would actually be in the game explicitly like they have a rule of we're not bringing these back, as going any further really stretches the ethics of should we be keeping these in a zoo, and as a result they're left out as, yeah, we're not dealing with that. But Australopithecus is something that I want to include, maybe Sahelanthropus, but hominids would be very much early ones only, not later hominids, and definitely nothing of the Homo genus. That is left out. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video of me building a Prehistoric Kingdom Zoo, and talking a bit about a random game idea that I've had. But without further ado, you know, like and subscribe if you want more stuff in games, D&D, all sorts of other stuff. Do not expect any consistency on this channel. That is the one rule. Except one D&D stuff whenever that comes out. Whenever we get the next one, I will, of course, do stuff in it. But I might do more Prehistoric Kingdom in the future as well. I might do something to do with the newer dinos as well. I've already thrown together something, as you saw. It was all about it, but anyway. See y'all next time! HaloZoo out.